Hello everybody, so today I'm going to be giving you the 5 best and 5 worst things about being a teacher. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So as a teacher, if you've been a teacher for a little while, some of these may sound familiar to you and you can completely relate. Or if you are thinking about joining or going into teaching, then I really want to prepare you for what to expect when becoming a teacher. Now, this is not a hard and fast list of what's definitely going to happen to you, but this is just from my experience, and I know a lot of other teachers can probably relate to this as well. So I just wanted you to be prepared for the things I've experienced and hopefully be able to take this knowledge and help you to make an informed decision if you are still considering becoming a teacher. So my top 5 and 5 list, so there's going to be 10 in total. So 5 of the best things and 5 of the worst things that I've just listed out as things that I find to be the best or the worst things about being a teacher. So the first one, let's go ahead and start with a positive. The first one that I have is that one student or group of students even who appreciate you. So if you've been a teacher for a while, or even if you're in student teaching right now, if you've had any experience in the classroom, and this could even happen during your practicum hour times as well. You could start to understand the room depending on how many hours a day that you are there for in the classroom. You'll get to know the students pretty well and know what students are really sweet and kind and appreciative and which ones need a little bit more of a push. Number 2, and so this is more of a drawback or some of the worst things about teaching. So I like to say the fun parents or the difficult parents to get along with. So if you've been in the classroom and dealt with parents before, you know that this can be challenging sometimes. Sometimes there's parents who have too much attention in the classroom, others don't give enough attention, and so it's nice to have kind of a middle of the road. It really just depends, but lots of difficult experiences with parents are possible, so that's something you just want to mentally prepare yourself for and prepare yourself to try to be as adaptable as possible to that. Number 3, so another positive, is these schedules. So obviously teachers have a pretty good schedule when it comes to breaks and weekends off. So it's a pretty consistent schedule of being able to not work Saturday and Sunday. And then if you're not a year-round school, if you do take summer break, then you have all the same holidays or most of the same holidays off as all the other schools, just depending on the time of year and where you live. But you get lots of holiday breaks, you get summer breaks, so lots of different time to rest and recover over those times if you're not, of course, lesson planning for the next year during that time. But even then, a lot of jobs, they don't give you that kind of time off. So if you're looking for a job that gives you a lot of days out of the year off, this is a great choice for you. Number 4, so school assigned duties. So this could be lunch duty, recess duty, bus duty, after school duties, different things like that. So these are all things that are potential for you to encounter within your time of teaching. If you do not have school monitors for this, or even if they're short staffed some days, then you may be asked to step in and do an after school duty, cover a recess, cover a lunch. So you need to be prepared and expect for that. I remember when I was going to school as a child, I had all these different school monitors that it was their assigned job. And so when I got into teaching, I thought that's the way it was going to be. And I didn't realize that it was just my school that was like that. It was a little bit better, I guess, in that regards than all the other ones in the form of how they were able to get workers to be able to do just that specific job, versus when you actually become a teacher, you'll start to see that teaching is not just your only job. Sometimes you have extra duties or monitoring assigned onto that. Number 5, so another positive could be a free snack, treat, or lunch. So teachers have teachers lounges for a reason. There's lots of different events at the school, or just it's always someone's birthday, it feels like, or celebrating something. So if you've ever been in a school environment for a long period of time, maybe throughout student teaching, or just if you are a teacher already, you might be familiar with this one. So there's lots of free food almost every single day of the week. You could probably find something free to eat. So if you're one of those people who doesn't like to bring or buy lunch, then go ahead and check your teacher's lounge, because there's probably free snacks in there. Almost every school I've worked at has had something like this, to where they have either free snacks, or one day a week or multiple days a week they get free food, just from different things going on in the school. So lots of benefits there if you enjoy free treats, snacks, or lunches. Number 6, so a negative that I would say is unsupportive team members, unsupportive administration staff, so unsupportive people that you are working with. So I've had pretty much every hand at this, and I would have to say that my least favorite is actually unsupportive team teachers. I think if you have supportive team teachers, then everything else around you becomes easier. But that's the one thing, for me at least, that if I had anything be unsupportive, that would be my worst one, would be unsupportive team teachers. So I've had it where I've had unsupportive team teachers on my team, and I've also had very supportive team teachers. And with one, you get a drawback somewhere else. So with the unsupportive team teachers, I had a really nice group of students. But then once I had a supportive team of team teachers, my group of students wasn't as good, or the parents weren't as good. So everything is a trade-off in teaching, I've found. So, but I rather have supportive team teachers over any of the other options, just because I find that if you have a team in your grade level or your subject area that is really supportive, everything else around you will be so much easier. Number 7, job security. So this is a positive, but also it can get kind of murky, I would say, because yes, you have job security through a signed contract if you are a teacher, so that is awesome. However, there is a stipulation in that which you have to make sure you know going into it. So it's great to be able to have a signed contract, which is why it's on my positive list. You have a secure job. However, the way the teaching contracts are made is that they are so vague, to where you have a job set up for the year, absolutely. They just don't tell you what it is in that contract, and that's where it becomes kind of sketchy, because I signed a contract to be a teacher, and I knew I was being hired for this grade level position at this school. If the students' needs don't meet that, and they don't need you anymore, and you were hired last if you do not have seniority, or if someone else was surplused before, then you could be the one being surplused next. So if you're not sure what that means, make sure to check out some of my other teaching videos. I have more on that topic about being surplused, but basically, just in short, it means that they can move you wherever they want you, to whatever school, whatever grade level, wherever they need you, if the position they hired you for is not really needed anymore. So yes, you do have job security with a contract, which is great, but keep in mind that the contract is so that way you can be a teacher in general in that district. Number 8, the kids with behavior problems. So you may have experienced this before. Usually there's one in every class, at least one student or one kid with a behavior issue. So sometimes you get lucky and it's just one, sometimes you don't get so lucky and it's more than one. So this is something that's very challenging to deal with, especially as a new teacher. So it's always so important to do lots of research, learn new tips, tricks, and techniques, take advice from veteran teachers as well. I think you can never try too many things, because the worst thing that's going to happen is you end up in the same spot you're in now. However, my biggest thing to combat this, which I know is not always possible, but is to start off the year strong. So if you have the advantage, the upper hand of being the classroom teacher from the beginning with those students, everything is going to be so much easier as long as you lay that groundwork in the beginning. Now, if you are coming in mid-year to a job, then I understand that this is going to be so much harder for you to deal with those behavior issues. So you really have to take it one day at a time, and you just have to make sure that you are learning new tips, tricks, and techniques to help you through this time. And then just one more negative for the list is actually the extra hours. So I know I touched on it being a scheduled job, and it is. However, lots of teachers put in extra hours before school, after school, during different planning times, and you're usually not given enough time to finish all of your planning throughout the school day. And so that's where those extra hours come in. So that's kind of a drawback. However, if you have a school that starts early and then it ends earlier, you might have more time in your day to be able to do those extra things that you need to get done for your job. I really like to wake up early, so that helps me with those extra hours that I needed to put in to help support my job and what I was doing. And number 10, the very last one. So kind of a cliche, however, I think it's still really important, because if this isn't something that makes you happy, then the job itself probably won't make you happy. But you might not know it until you actually get to do it and get to try it. But the joy of teaching someone something. So I really enjoy when a student understands something that I taught them and it just like clicks in their head. And this can happen through the different teaching methods that the school has you do, but my personal favorite is when I'm able to connect to the students on a one-on-one basis, to where I've taught them something and maybe they're not understanding it, but then I go the extra mile and I have to reteach it in a way that makes sense to me in my brain. And if it makes sense to me in my brain and then I get to explain it to them and they understand it the same way that I do, and I was able to use my own personal example for it or one of my own teaching methods, that just gives me such good confidence, such a confidence builder when students understand something that you learned or that you understand in the same way as you, and that you know that your reteaching was really valuable. So that's one of my favorite things about teaching in general. So hopefully these 5 best and 5 worst things today helped give you a little bit more insight into what teaching is all about. If you want to see more teaching related content, please check out my channel. There's lots of teaching videos on there. Let me know in the comments below what you would like to see next from the channel, and subscribe if you are new.